organizers. Thank you very much for a good picture. Big round of applause. Thank you. As Rohan takes over from here, thank you.
Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic panel discussion on the market trends in cashews. Thank you once again to our esteemed panelists. We will definitely hand you some cashews, sir, but you have to come back on stage right away. In fact, he will. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we are now ready to proceed with our final business session for the day, which is a panel discussion on market trends in spices. And we have all our esteemed panelists amongst us. But the first to come up on stage will be our moderator, Mr. Deepak Parikh, Chief Growth Officer, Sumaya Corporation Limited. So, may I take the pleasure of once again inviting Mr. Deepak Parikh up on stage. It's going to be a marathon session for him, like we promised you, sir. We're not only giving you cashews, we're giving you cashews dipped in spices. Thank you for joining us, and Mr. Deepak Parikh will now welcome all our esteemed panelists up on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, once again take the pleasure of inviting Mr. Vijay Sardana, Techno-Legal and Risk Management Expert and the Advocate of Supreme Court of India. Let's have a round of applause and welcome Mr. Sardana up on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I request you to kindly get your hands together as we invite our panelists up on stage. We have amongst us the General Manager of Main Kenya Limited, Mr. Marvin Murphy. Let's have a round of applause and welcome Mr. Marvin Murphy up on stage. Mr. Marvin Murphy, sir, if you're here, I believe he'll join us in a short while from now. We have the CEO and founder of Al Sultan Establishment Limited, Mr. Mazen Sultan. Thank you so very much for joining us, gentlemen. Yes, let's have a big round of applause, please. I'd like to invite Mr. Brij Kumar, International Sales and Marketing Head at Elvin Agri. A big round of applause, please. Thank you so very much for joining us. I'd like to welcome Mr. George Kiveleg, from Operations Manager at Tanzania Spices Association. Mr. George, will you please join us up on stage? He's not here. Right, we'll welcome Mr. Qasim Al-Alawi, Business Development Manager at Otimale Limited. Mr. Qasim, are you here, please? And finally, let's welcome Mr. Hamad, President of Zanzibar National Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to welcome Mr. Hamad. Thank you for joining us, sir. Indeed, let's have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a final session, a panel discussion on market trends in spices to commence, and I'd request Mr. Deepak Parikh to kindly take this session forward.
Hope I am audible. Okay, great. So I know it's difficult to be in the last session, at least for the audience, right? And luckily speakers are having all the energy. Right? We are having very young team. The youngest, my elder Mr. Sardana Saab, right? The energy is infectious, super energetic person, right? So we have in this panel, so I'm also fortunate to be moderating him, right? That's a rarity. So spices, we all know that actually it's it gives flavor to our food, right? And we Indians, we love our spicy food, chili, turmeric, ginger, right? You name it, and we love it, right? And I've seen that when I was traveling around in Tanzania, right? You make Indian food in really, really good manner, right? Pretty tasty Indian food is what Tanzania delivers to us. And that is one of the reasons is that actually the spices being produced in Tanzania. Now, if we see that the spices industry itself, right, and Africa has been contributing immensely, right? Total export of close to $10 billion is not a small sum, and that is what Africa has been able to achieve. And many of the commodities, when we talk about from cinnamon to turmeric, chili, right, while they have originated in different continents, but you see that they have been early adopted in Africa also because of the trade route it was having. The cloves, right, one of the best in the world. Cinnamon, excellent. Nutmegs, and all of them, they are more than $1 billion export industry. Now, I would definitely start with it would be not right without getting Mr. Sardana into it. Sir, I would like you to speak what we feel is right, because I have no capacity to tell you what to speak about.
Thank you, Deepak ji. It's a really honor to be here for one of the very wonder crop of the nature, these spices. And very often, I think, in trade, we ignore the true potential of spices. We look at spices just as a, culinary ingredient, just for taste. But if you look into, I'll divide this another 2 minutes into 2 different dimensions. If you are in a spice trade, be very careful, because around the world the standards related to spices are changing very fast, especially pesticide residues and aflatoxin related problems. Especially those who are exporting to Europe and other high value markets, they have increased the surveillance on many spices. When it comes to surveillance, means the consignment when it is reaching the port. Earlier they used to do 5% sampling, 10% sampling. In many of the spices which are leaving India and many other countries, the surveillance has gone as high as to 50%. Means every alternate consignment will be sampled, detected. Means risk has gone up in the business. So one way of looking at it is that spice trade, generally, even our agriculture laws and food laws are not taking spices seriously for 2 reasons. One is it is a minor crop. You don't grow too much like wheat, rice, paddy and maize and other things. That is why the pesticide related standards and norms around the world are very weak or insignificant or very often does not exist. And classic example of India. If I am exporting a product from India to any other important developed market like Europe or America, when they do the pesticide analysis on spices, invariably they found there are a lot of things which are unwanted. And this is putting pressure on spice trade. So those who are in the spice trade, please start focusing on quality. If you are in a spice for food application, that's what I'm very clear on that. But there's another huge market which is emerging. I don't know how much trade is focusing on, because actual money is there, not in doing commodity trade of spices. Today, world is moving away from agrochemicals, even in agriculture control or the pest controls, into essential oils. And if you really want to harvest the potential of spices, focus on essential oils. Rest is all garbage. If you take essential oil out from the spice, rest is just fiber. It has no value. So if you are really in the game is going to be essential oils. It has many applications. As I said, it is in the health control, it is in disease control, it is in pest control. That is on the one aspect. Second, spices are today one of the most important ingredient in perfumery industry, fragrance industry, cosmetic industry. That is another dimension. Another aspect which is becoming very important is wellness category, health foods. And this is where the game is going to be. So there is a way to look at it. Either you are interested in 100 rupees a kg or 200 or 500 rupees kg spice, or you are talking about ₹1,000,000 a kg essential oil. Best part of essential oil is you are not bothered about the quality of raw material. Even damaged, shriveled, uneven size can go into essential oil business. Applications are immense. It is an area of where you can create n number of intellectual property. You can create brands, you can create recipes. And remember one thing in life, commodity business never gives you money. But essential oil and spices, which has a sensory properties, is addictive. And wherever the business is addictive in nature, you make more money. Tobacco, you make more money. Liquor, you make more money. So think of a business where you can create addictive business based on spices, so that you have your brand, your recipe, which is difficult to copy. What is pan parag? If you look into cost of production with the retail price, that is what the whole essential oil economy can do to you. And why I'm so bullish, and that is why, just to supplement before I close, I'm establishing worth 25 crore rupees R&D facility in Gurugram just on phytochemicals, and target is, one of the prime target is spices. I'm not interested in spice as a commodity, but spice as a raw material for further value addition. So think over it. We are open to collaborations. Those who are looking for good ideas and create IPR around the business, make millions of, see, either you go for 2% business or you go for 100% margin. It will not be container load, it may be few kgs, but there is $1 million in the game. Think over it and think spices differently in today's world, because people are looking for wellness, people are looking for immunity, people are looking for fragrances, people are looking for naturals, all comes from spices. So we have not explored properly what spice can do other than just doing containers and trading. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay bhai, for such an interesting intervention. I believe, as a visionary person in the industry, you have shown the path forward. But actually, end of the day, my role is also to tell the market upar jayega, niche jayega. Right? So let's talk about my intervention on the price point, sir, with your permission, because there are a lot of people from the industry who would also like to see that aspect of the business. So in my view, we are seeing dry chili being firm. I see a little bit correction in cumin. Coriander, I'm seeing going up. Turmeric, strong chances of going strongly on the upside. And other than that, coriander up, right? These are some of the spices I believe would be bullish. I believe in only those crops which are bullish, so I'm leaving those are going to go down, right? Rest you can understand which can go down. Now we come back to essential oils, right? So we are having Marvin, right, who is already having a business around essential oils. So Marvin would like to understand from you what Vijayji said, right? What you are doing and how you're seeing it going forward to be the industry of future when it comes to spices business.
So thank you very much, firstly, for allowing me to be on the panel with you, gentlemen. I work for a company, French-based company, 150 years old, called Man. It's a flavor house. We have expanded into both flavors and fragrances. From a flavor perspective, almost a third of our turnover comes from savory-based products, which are often snack seasonings, culinary seasonings, and so on. So adding value to spices is hugely important. We acquired what was a supplier of ours, which did both from mint production and oleoresin production from India, called Kankor, which I think they're the third largest in the world now for oleoresin production. And it's about making it from anything from the cost of transportation, as you're concentrating the product down, but more about the consistency of taste. So that when you do getting, the natural crop variations, the product droughts and so on, it all has an impact to the overall finished product and taste. So if you're doing it as a concentration level, you're not allowing yourself for product variability. So it's very important that you're giving the consumer something very consistent all along. And that can be, the snack industry is growing, still very much in its infancy within East Africa, but is certainly growing more traditionally from potato snacks, but it's becoming and developing anything from the local cheddar and beyond. So whether we do that or we take spices in a dry blend and apply them to those seasonings as well, it's adding value into the chain directly for manufacturers, with always the consumer at heart, is very important for us.
So Marvin, a very interesting thing. One more thing actually I've noticed, most of the flavors and food ingredient companies, their gross margins are so high, right? I'm yet to see anyone below 70%. So what is the secret for that? I think that would also add value if you can shed some light on that.
Yeah, so going through the process and adding the value, essentially what we're finding more recently is the cost, and ever since post-COVID, and it's always something everybody always relates to, the cost of the shipping lines, the transportation, that is adding such huge amounts. So to source locally is very important, because you're reducing not only carbon footprint, but also the cost to ship. So that's quite critical. And all the time you can concentrate and keep concentrating and going further. So often it then, and where I guess man adds value, is on the application methodology. So how do you apply it? How do you get the maximum taste benefit through application? Historically, it's been very much around dust application, but again, the use of oleoresins directly into oil, sprayed on post-fry, gives you just as big and or natural impact, but it will also help reduce costs from a cost in use perspective.
Perfect. So technology is leading to all those great profit. Yeah, please, Vijay sir, please.
I think what Marvin said is a fantastic thing. See, as I was mentioning to you, it is an addictive, it's a taste factor, which is important. You go to supermarket, you have a combination of condiments, which is technically spices. 20 grams, 30 grams, anything from 50 rupees to 100 rupees in a plastic bottle. What is kg price and what is the ton price? And at what price you are selling the raw material? You are maybe selling 100 rupees a kg. But that 20 grams is of 50 rupees to 100 rupees. It is not the spice, it is the combination which gives the taste. And the money is for that intellectual property, not the commodity. So if your business is lacking intellectual property, and in spices you can create huge, whether you create a seasoning for Maggi, or you create a seasoning for pizza, or you create it for paratha, or you create it for masala for your raita, all are different tastes. But fact is, if you look at the ingredient list, they are actually common. It's a combination. So it is an intellectual property, it is not commodity which gives profit. Unfortunately, in trade we only focus on quantity and price. And that is why we continue to struggle and we look into which way the direction is. If you really want to make money, intellectual property is 100% profit. Rest is commodity, which is available in 100 rupees a kg. Thank you.
Sir, ab 100 rupees mein kuch bhi nahi mil raha hai, lekin. So now I'll go to Bridge. So Bridge, you are trying to solve one of a big challenge which Africa spices sector has been facing for a long time, right? Delivering consistent quality product, right, to the end user in form of commodity. So we would like to understand from you how you have been able to achieve that, and some of the areas of intervention using technology which you have been able to solve such challenge which we face predominantly in many African countries.
Actually, the things starts from ground, from the farm, where we started with 10 farmers. We have our own farm, but the challenge in the if we see the farming side, there is a lot of challenge. First of all, in Tanzania, but it is growing nowadays. It's required education, proper supervision, that is mandatory to improve the quality of product. So we have made the supply chain from farm to processing unit. We have mediators, like they collect the goods for us with the proper our quality supervision. It's come to our farm, our processing unit, and then we have a strong quality team in both sides. So, and we are investing in to collaborate with some farmers. Even in entire Morogoro, we have certified the land, which is around 2,500 acre, to promote the baobab, which is the good potential, and the trend is going high now. So, and yeah, same thing. It's required educations, and we are spending money for educating the farmers, giving a training, and just we know that this Tanzania is a beautiful land. There's lots of opportunity that we can definitely grow and develop while working together with the farmers. So just the part we need to complete is education, providing them good resources like some nearby villages, there's no, the water. They are traveling 10 kilometers to bring the water. So we are providing all, day-to-day activity need, and then they are coming up. The farmers are growing nowadays. We are giving them good value for their hard working. So this is the trend, and we are doing so many community development projects as well. In terms of, we associate with Jan Goodall Institute, where we are promoting our educational means about the food, organic food, environment conservation, and sustainable farming. So these are all things are mandatory to grow the farm labels. We have to do the education. So that is our basic fundamental to maintain the quality.
That's excellent, Bridge. Helping handholding farmer. I think it is one of the very basics, which generally, a lot of companies miss out, right? And you doing that. Now, I would like to move to Mazen. You have been trying to create another state-of-the-art facility for processing of spices in Tanzania. What are the challenges, and how you have been able to solve those challenges to create a better value for the end users?
Thank you so much. Actually, it's been an incredible journey here in Tanzania. Tanzania's struggle in growing spices, not only in growing spices, but in the after processing of spices, in drying and in grading and in sorting. And this is a common challenge in all of Africa. So in Tanzania, we have started as all investors in Tanzania started educating the local farmers in seeding, in planting, in cleaning the farm, not to be a rich ground for fungus and for hazardous infections, but also to the point of harvesting and picking up and plucking on time and right on the maturity. We don't want the product to be over-matured or premature. And that is a very significant factor in terms of producing spices. The other thing, and Tanzania is a very rich country with spices, even in the region, it's number one. But I think it's an incredible journey because we have started even engaging with the local government, building them schools just to encourage them to indulge with us and give us the space and open their doors, even their families, to welcome us, to invest with them in solar dryers, in technology like electricity dryers and other methods. Grading, as I said, is very important, and packaging is another. Packaging and storing is a very important factor. Mr. Moderator and everyone here has pointed out that aflatoxin and poisonous developed, not grown up, but developed from the product itself, produced by the product. It starts from the farm, and this is where we come as a company and as investors. We collect from the farms, having an established collection centers, engaging with the farmers, collecting those products, bringing them to Dar es Salaam or to our processing units in every corner of the country, drying it ourselves, training them, and investing in that as well. So now we are at the process of attending international exhibitions and getting Tanzania back in the map of as an exporting country of spices. Thank you.
No, thanks a lot. And in fact, there is a beautiful map. You can Google it, spice map of Africa, and that gives a lot of insights. It's very beautiful. So, Madari, come to you. You have been able to solve one of the problem long back when Zanzibar started, being a state-based agency to collect from the farmers and ensure that a good quality product is sold to the end users. So, I would like your intervention, your views on how we can take the spices industry of Africa forward.
Thank you so much. Once again, I appreciate this opportunity to be one of the panelists here. And I'm happy that colleagues have spoken on the part of Tanzania mainland or Tanzania in general. And I will speak specifically for Zanzibar. We all know Zanzibar is the main producer in Africa of the cloves, as the king of spices. And fortunately or unfortunately, clove has been a state-owned commodity in Zanzibar. Not everyone can export cloves from Zanzibar to elsewhere. Unlike here in the mainland, you can grow and export cloves to wherever you want to export to. But in Zanzibar, it's controlled under the government, under the State Trading Corporation of Zanzibar. So the farmers can only farm with the guidance from the Minister of Agriculture. They can dry and then they can sell to the state company with I think about 3 grades. The price now is rising and everyone is happy with the price. Of course, everyone wants more, but at least it's better compared to 10 years back. With other spices, we are falling down in terms of production, and mainly it's because of the space in Zanzibar. We all know Zanzibar is a small island, and the land now becomes scarce because of immigration, but also overpopulation from within. We all know when you consume more spices, definitely you make more babies. So the population increases. We cannot we cannot expand the land. So this is an opportunity for investors from India. If you can come to Zanzibar and invest in smart farming that cannot or should not consume bigger land, but also for colleagues like a friend here who has spoken about the plants for processing the spices. We export more than 90% raw spices, and this is not good for the government, it's not good for the people of Zanzibar. So we invite investors to come and invest in processing plants so that those spices can be exported at least semi-processed. And this is not only for the spices, but also we have other products like seaweed or sea moss, some people call it sea moss, which is very good, very rich in minerals. They say our bodies need 102 minerals, and in this one product you get 92 minerals. So this is another very good product for Zanzibar, and people from India can come and invest in Zanzibar. Thank you so much.
Now, surely we will invest in seaweeds and all other exotic things Zanzibar offers.